Cowboys facility yesterday. They had their league meetings. We'll have Ian Rappaport on momentarily. And he said, quote, "It's a big day for the NFL. We can't wait for the whole football world to get back to business. And neither can the four of us." What's up, everybody? My name's Kay Adams, Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt. Peter, when is Good Morning Football live from Jerry Jones' yacht happening?
Oh, it's got to happen. It's time. I think we're all ready for that one, Kay. I think everyone is okay to get to that yacht right now.
A lot of Bears fans tweeting me, "Where's your Bears gear?" Okay, well, I'm wearing a Chargers like zip-up thing, but we can talk about the Bears right now to kick off our second hour. It's the lead block.
Lead block.
Lead block.
So the Bears do this. They bring in Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles. They also don't do this. They don't pick up the fifth-year option for their quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky. Now, Matt Nagy spoke about how he handled that conversation with his fourth-year quarterback.
For us, we move on. We're all very open and honest in discussions we have, and then we just let the thing play out. And again, in the end, what we want is for both those quarterbacks to be the best possible quarterbacks that they can be individually, and then make it hard on us to make the decision to who the starter is. So that makes the Bears a better football team. And when you have two good people like we do in Mitchell and Nick, it makes these type of decisions and conversations a lot easier to have because they're competitive as hell. They want the best for the Bears, and they're going to fight their tails off to do that.
Two great people, one starting quarterback. So do you guys think the Bears brass brought in Nick Foles to be a mentor, which we know he is, a motivating factor potentially to bring in another guy to sort of light the fire and resurrect Trubisky's career? Or did they bring him in to be the starter, Kyle?
First of all, Nagy's the man. We need football. I get fired up listening to him talk, and the answer is a resounding competition. That was the word of the entire 2020 Bears offseason. Pace, Nagy, competition, competition, competition. They could not say it enough. There is no mentor about this. This is a straight-up, good old-fashioned, head-to-head Rob Johnson versus Doug Flutie type competition here. And I know a lot of us have been very robust on this is going to be Foles' job. I don't know. I really don't. I will say this. When Nagy announced there was going to be a competition, he made sure to say that Mitch will be in first. We're starting to split hairs about how we're phrasing sentences and reps and stuff like that, and it would be in the Bears' best interest for Mitch Trubisky to blossom and win this thing. Not only is he their guy, he's younger, he's more versatile, he's a better athlete, you could do more with him in the offense. They would love it if all of a sudden Mitch turned into a killer and won. Here is the problem. This is the thing that is terrifying for anyone still rooting for Mitch. You mentioned the fifth-year option. They did not sign him in this spring. Take a look at this list of quarterbacks who were drafted by their team and had their fifth-year option declined. It ain't pretty. You see Mitch, Paxton Lynch, Johnny Football. Teddy Bridgewater is now working out. It's another team. E.G. Manuel with the Bills. I mean, on the right, Whedon, Locker, Gabbard, Ponder on the Minnesota Vikings. It usually is the proverbial writing on the wall. It doesn't mean Mitch can't show up and win this thing, especially with the weird offseason. But I also will finish with this. Matt Nagy has quarterback blood running through his veins. It is his football oxygen. He is a quarterback guy. He did not draft Mitch Trubisky. John Fox drafted Mitch Trubisky. That is someone else's kid, and he loves him, and he roots for him, but it is not his guy, and never underestimate quarterback guys having their own guy. I think it really is going to be Foles unless Mitch just absolutely kills it.
I feel you on that, KB, and I agree with you 100%. To answer the question, they didn't bring him in just to give him the position. You're not going to give Nick Foles a starting position without allowing him to earn it. And you're not going to demote Mitchell Trubisky until he loses the job. So what they're doing is, just like KB is saying, they're bringing in real-deal competition. Listen, Nagy said it. Both of the guys are competitive as hell. I love that quote. And you guys know how I feel about competition. Just like KB said, old school, authentic. I'm talking about one versus one competition that brings the best out of somebody. That breeds championships. So if there's no competition, then you can't be as critical as you want about somebody's mistakes. If there's no competition, then the guy who's holding the position thinks there's no problem. But if there's no competition, there's no progress. So I think they want to see progress. If Nick Foles comes in and pushes Mitchell Trubisky to the limit of his talent, of his skill set, of his football intellect, and that's not enough for the franchise, then they have their answer. But if Mitchell Trubisky all of a sudden says, ooh, I feel this heat under my seat, all of a sudden I'm playing better than ever, now they got their answer. They can extend Mitch, and he's going to be the quarterback moving forward. But with all that said about competition, and this is what I want to see out of either guy, you know what's better than competition? Total domination. And I think Nagy wants to see that. Once these guys compete, one dude has to step up and totally dominate the position. And then Nagy will have his answer.
Trying to digest all that. Truth is, Nate, they both are going to want to dominate it. And it's going to be one of these deals where the coach has to pick what he wants. Like, it's not going to be one of these deals where, all right, here it is. And suddenly Nick Foles was better. And then go by Trubisky. Trubisky's going to fight. Like, Trubisky's going to fight for this. And I think Trubisky's been in a fight before, and it was at UNC, and it was another quarterback named Marquise Williams, who you probably don't remember in the NFL because it wasn't much Marquise Williams NFL, but Marquise Williams started every game when Mitch Trubisky was there as a sophomore, and Marquise Williams was the older quarterback. And basically Trubisky, who was a hot prospect out of Ohio, could not rip that torch and take the job away because Williams just refused to lose it. Nick Foles has a lot going in his favor right now. One, the offensive coordinator, who is Bill Lazor, has a history with Nick Foles. Two, John DeFilippo, who's the quarterback's coach, was the quarterback's coach in Philadelphia when Nick Foles had that miracle Super Bowl run. And three, Matt Nagy knows Nick Foles not only from Philadelphia, but from Kansas City as well. Kyle nailed it. Matt Nagy didn't draft Mitch Trubisky. He might love him, might call him Mitchell, might be really affectionate. He didn't draft him. It's not like this is on Matt Nagy if Mitch Trubisky does not start week one. If Foles comes out there and he is undeniable and he is the starter, of course he wasn't brought in to mentor Mitch Trubisky. He was there to challenge and ultimately be the best man standing. I think it's Foles' job. I really do. And I really like Trubisky, and I think he does have a future. But he would have to have an outstanding training camp to hold off Nick Foles and all the momentum going his way.
You know, Kyle, when I first heard the news that Foles was going to Chicago, I wasn't against it, but I wasn't in love with it. It was, obviously an admission that Trubisky isn't the answer there. And all I keep thinking about is this window. And it's really all that matters if you're a Chicago Bears fan. So looking at it now, this could be, and you've convinced me of this, I think, over the past several months, if he comes in and takes the job and takes them deep into the playoffs, that's great. If he comes and pushes the Trubisky kid and gets the best out of him, lights a fire under his butt, that's good too. So this might be a really underrated move in the NFL landscape, don't you think? This could save the season. This would change the game in the NFC North.
It could. We all have to be very careful. I'm more guilty of this than anybody, of romanticizing what Nick Foles is. We build shrines for him. We talk about how she has a statue. Guys, last year he did not have it. Gardner Minshew was better in Jacksonville than he was. And not had it a bunch of times. So the idea that Nick Foles is going to come in and be Joe Montana like he was in a couple of postseasons, let's not get to that either. Recent history says Minshew with the jean shorts was better than Foles. That's the only reason in Chicago to begin with.
That's very fair. At Jim Iffy with your thoughts. Ian Rappaport joined us yesterday. The league meeting went on, and you saw Jerry Jones there getting back to business. And some of these facilities want to start opening safely, of course. And Ian Rappaport has more on that and the fallout from the league meeting.
It was an important day for the NFL on Tuesday as 5 or so facilities officially opened for business for the first time since the coronavirus pandemic hit, including the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones made a public statement for the first time from his Frisco facility, calling it a big day. That was a good sign, even though Alan Sills, the NFL chief medical officer, said there is no timetable. He's not going to put any dates on the calendar for when facilities would either be fully open or whether or not teams would have minicamp before everyone goes away for the summer. He did not want to lock the NFL down to a date because there is so much that we do not know with the coronavirus pandemic. And so much of what's going on now for the NFL is to make sure that teams are equitable, make sure that everyone is on the same page. That's why you're not going to see anyone open their facility to coaches or to players until everyone can do it at the same time. Sills also made some news discussing that he believes the NFL will have a positive case of coronavirus, potentially more. It's not if they're going to have one. He believes they will. It's simply how do they handle it? How is the testing at the time?